Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Let's start off with Gabby for a minute. What is Gabby's problem with Ava? I'm being genuinely serious. If somebody can tell me why Gabby does not like Ava so much, I would genuinely want to know. Because I don't understand why she dislikes this woman to this degree. And she gets in the house, she finds a necklace on the ground, she's like, oh, is it yours? And she's like, it's not mine. She's like, oh, maybe it's my brother's new girlfriend's necklace. And I'm like, well, good morning to you too, sweetheart. Like, I'm not gonna lie, she got on my damn nerves today. Gabby really got on my damn nerves today. Just the overall bitchiness of her nature just coming at Ava that way, you know. And listen, there's things that I like about Gabby. I like her ride or die attitude when it comes towards the men and the people that she loves. I love her look on life as far as making her own happiness, not waiting for it to come to her. But then there's the other side of her that I just not working for me. Just clearly not working for me. And, then she starts talking about Nicole. And she really tries to make Ava feel really jealous and insecure of Nicole. And I'm just like, what is your issue? But she goes in, she goes in, she goes in. Ava calls Rafe. It's like, where are you? What's going on? Made some food or whatever. And Rafe is like, listen, I'm with Nicole right now. She's not doing too good. She's upset, brokenhearted. I'm just here to kind of be a good friend and really help her out. Ava, listening to Gabby's rant, is like, you know what, maybe I can come over there too. I'm a friend. We can sit there and cook and have a good dinner. And Rafe was like, listen, she doesn't probably want to be fussed over. I got it from here. I'll call you, whatever. I don't exactly remember what Ava said, but she got hung up on because he wanted to get back to Nicole. She gets pissed. Now, granted, this wasn't all Gabby's, stirring her up. Because Ava was feeling that way for a while. Of course, Gabby's little bitchy rant just didn't help. But, she gets so angry that she takes the food and just throws it in the garbage. Gabby, like the immature child that she is, comes back around the room and she starts gloating once again. Oh, I guess he's not going to be coming home. I guess he got other plans and yada yada yada. And then she talks about her food or whatever. I'm just listening at there looking at this like, okay, you can clearly see this woman is angry and upset. She's not really saying too much to her. But Gabby's the type of person that she just can't sit there and let things be. You ever been so angry, so mad, that you don't even have the energy to sit there and start arguing back with someone? You're just like, F it. That's how Ava felt. And for some odd reason, it's like all that just went over Gabby's head and she reverted back to a 7-year-old and just kept going at her. And I'm just like, okay, whatever it was that whatever your plan was, you clearly seem like you got one over her. But I guess it just wasn't enough to sit there and continue arguing with her. You had to practically kick her when she was down. Real nice. Real nice, Gabby. Now, I know there are Gabby fans that really love her, and they love her feistiness, this, that, and the third, makes the character interesting, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I totally get it. And when that happens, when I say stuff about Gabby, people tend to come at me. Why are you talking about Gabby this way? She's that, she's this, she's the third. I get it. No one likes people talking about their favorite character. But one of the things that I love about a soap opera is how we interpret these different characters. Soap opera is how we interpret these different characters. GH, one of my favorite characters is Sunny. Now I have a subscriber that practically broke down Sunny and just how much of a terrible person that she thought that he was. And I was just like, now again, Sunny is my ride or die character, but there's people that do not like Sunny. And it is what it is. I'm one of those people that, well, it's not so much that I don't like Gabby. It's just when Gabby does something like that, I have to sit there and call her out on it. And I need people to understand that just because I may not like Gabby for XYZ, whatever reasons, that it's not the end of the world. And if you like this character, that's fine. But, yeah, I felt like I had to give a disclaimer because last time I really just went on Gabby, people got really upset with me. And it's something that I feel that some people need to understand is that I'm going to go hard on characters. There's characters I'm going to like, I'm going to sit there and praise them. There's characters that I may not like, that I'll sit there and praise them for their actions. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm going to sit there and give my honest opinion about these characters. And I need people to understand that because, you know, at the end of the day, it is just about perspective and, you know, whatever. Lonnie is another one. Oh my goodness, Lonnie. I do not understand this woman for the life of me. Eli, what the hell were you thinking when you got together with her? After she finished, you know, telling her sad story about Paris and how Paulina didn't sit there and take her and she's all upset and blah, 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 even though it's like years ago, Eli's like, listen, you might want to forgive her. She looked like she was about to get an attitude with him. He was like, listen, don't do it for her, do it for yourself. Something I never really quite understood. I'm not going to lie, to some extent, I kind of, to some extent, even though I do not like Lonnie, I was kind of like, what? I've heard people say that, too. Like, oh, well, I didn't forgive them because, you know, I did it for myself, not for them. Okay. Sure. But he explained it why. He explained why. She comes over there. You know, she comes over there and says to Paulina, I'm ready to offer you my forgiveness. I'm ready to offer you. This is the words that came out of this woman's mouth. I'm ready to offer you my forgiveness. I mean, if somebody came at me, if somebody came towards me, and we got into an argument, and they came over, and they were like, I'm ready to offer you my forgiveness, you know what I'm going to sit there and do? You know I'm going to sit there and tell them what they can do with their offer of their forgiveness? I mean, just the gall on this woman was just, it was inspiring and insulting at the same time. Now, before she got over there, Paulina's mother, who I still don't know her name, they were going over the story about, you know, why Paulina had to sit there and lie to Lonnie about her not being her birth mother. And this is where I'm starting to get upset with the mother. Because in the beginning, I don't know, you know, I know that this guy was dangerous or whatever, and, you know, it's the reason why, you know, Paulina had to sit there and be like, yo, like, she had to give her, you know, she had to give Lonnie up to her sister and be like, you know, her sister is Lonnie's mother because of the danger. And I get that. Is he still alive? I'm guessing that he's still alive. I'm guessing that he's still alive. But, the way this whole deal was supposed to work out, it was like, once Paulina gave Lonnie to her sister, that was it. It's an all or nothing deal. And, kept her to the promise. And that's where her mother keeps saying, well, you made a promise to your sister and you have to sit there and honor it, and you gave a promise to your sister. And I'm like, are you going to sit there and tell me that you want to act like, Paulina wasn't hurting about her decision, about her constant study decision over those years? I understand that, like, they had to do it for that particular reason, but, like, once she had the money and the resources, and she could probably, I don't know, hire a bodyguard or somebody else to sit there and take care of the trash-ass man that was in her life, why the hell did they not actually go back and renegotiate that deal or promise that she made? Because at the end of the day, that is her daughter. And the mother just sat there and acted like, well, you made a promise to Tama and you got to sit there and keep that promise. And, Paulina's like, well, what about me? It's like, oh, well, I understand how you're feeling. I'm like, you really don't. And honestly, to tell you the truth, throughout that whole conversation, I felt like her mother was favoring Tamara more than Paulina. Now, I'm not a parent. I know the golden rule is that you're not supposed to sit there and favor your children, even though some people do. I feel like in some sort of way she was sitting there favoring her. By just not understanding that all those years, and by the way, that whole Paris trip, the reason why they didn't go was because of her mother. But, regardless, the fact that she's just like, boy, you can't say anything, you just gotta sit there and just up and leave and just be on and see her sometimes. And I'm like, what the hell? I sat there and I was like, that's pretty damn evil. That is pretty damn evil. And when she came in there after she said what she said, Lonnie's like, listen, I give you my forgiveness under a condition that you will never sit there and lie to me again. Now she's standing right next to her, Paulina's mother. She's like, you can't sit there and lie to me. And her mother just stands there and smiles. Like, stands there and smiles. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So not only is she going to have to sit there and lie to her one more time, which clearly her own mother doesn't seem to have a problem with it, but practically sit there and just continuously to break her heart, knowing that it's breaking your own daughter's heart. But no. We gotta sit there and do it because of some promise that you sat there and said to, my other daughter like years ago. Like, I don't understand the level of just evilness and kind of stupidity. I don't know. Maybe it goes back to the whole respecting your elders crap. I don't know what it went down to, but it looked like, Paulina probably had enough. It was like, listen, I gotta sit there and tell you something. Now, it'll be all good and fantasy-wise if, she actually said, I'm your real mother or whatever. But we both know that she's not going to do that. And whatever this storyline is going to drag on to, I hope it does not drag on too long. Pretty much the only thing that happened with Nicole and Eric. Nicole and Eric. Nicole and Rave. Is that Rave came in and Nicole wasn't there crying. She was upset about her broken marriage. And, Rave sat there and made her feel better. I'm going to be honest. I really had no sympathy for Nicole. Yeah, it's hard watching other people cry, but I'm like, sweetheart, you literally... I'm like, this is on you. This is on you. Because you allowed him to go to Africa. You basically didn't sit there and tell him, listen, if you don't come back in a certain amount of time, we are done. You got into an argument with him. You went to the bar. You got reckless. You started drinking like there was no tomorrow. Now, granted, when you're drunk, you do things that sometimes you may not normally have done. So, okay, fine. It happened. It happened, and it sucks. Now, at the end of the day, regardless if you're in your right frame of mind, it happened. You gotta sit there and take responsibility for that. You can't sit there and be like, oh, I did this, I did. Yeah, you did it. Now you gotta own it. You didn't bother to sit there and tell Eric. Hell, even when he got back, let's sit there and say she couldn't reach him by phone. Send an email. If he didn't get that, before y'all started, you should have said something. Y'all could have spared yourself that whole embarrassment. But she didn't do that. She decided to sit there and act like nothing ever happened. It was just in the past, it was a mistake, and he does not need to know, and we could just go on with our happy lives. And you know what? Maybe in a fantasy land somewhere else that might have actually worked. It's a show called Torchwood. This woman cheated on her husband. She had an opportunity to sit there and tell him. Went badly. She never told him that she cheated on him with someone else. And they lived a happily ever after, kids and everything. So, I'm not sitting there saying that not telling him is the best option. But she had way too many factors. You know, this woman who I was sitting there talking about was not being blackmailed by anyone. And, all intents and purposes, everyone else were practically dead. So, I guess she kind of looked at it like telling him wouldn't have did anything. By the way, Torchwood is actually a great series, the UK version, so I highly recommend that. But the point is, she should have told Eric, and she didn't. And now she's sitting there crying and being all upset, and you know, it's like, bro, I don't feel bad for you. But Rafe was there, cheered her up, made her feel better, and you know, kind of got her back to the land of the living. So, good job, Rafe. Of course, my guy is skating on thin ice with her, as far as knowing that he has feelings for her, still continuing to be by her, knowing how Ava feels about that, but just like, no, we're just friends, it's okay. And, alright, bro, let her do that and see how you feel. Now, the last scene, I think, is with EJ. EJ talks to Chad, tells him about their broken marriage, can't be repaired, X, Y, and Z. Chad's just there to sit there and listen and help out, I guess, just to be an ear. Now, Allie came from the police station with Lucas after Lucas told Allie about the whole affair thing. I don't know if she actually talking about the affair thing, but she was sitting there saying that they have feelings or whatever. No. He did actually say, talk about the affair because of the whole EJ thing, and they broke up and everything like that. And I love in the beginning how Lucas says something, she was like, ew. Now, I get it. I get you don't want your parents to sit there and know about y'all, you know, them making whoopee or whatever. But I'm like, sweetheart, this is the reason why you're in this world, is because of the fact that they made whoopee. So let's just kind of tone down the ill comments for a little bit. But, after Lucas left, Allie went to talk to EJ. I guess sit there and try to do damage control for her mother for some odd reason. And I kind of just sat there and looked at it like, once EJ was like, yeah, no, this isn't going to work out. Like, no, me and her are done. We're done. When somebody sits there and says they're done, that it can't be repaired, and then Allie's just like, well, you know, that's what she does. She makes mistakes, but, you know, she was going to sit there and fight for you. It's like, okay, sweetheart, but how many mistakes can you sit there and make? To sit there and say, oh, well, she makes mistakes all the time, like, that's just supposed to be just, oh, well, it's Sammy, she just made a mistake, blah, 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 oh, well. Like, once somebody sits there and says they're done being with somebody, that should have ended the conversation. But Allie just kept going on because, I don't know, I guess that's what Allie does. But, you know, all her talks about trying to give her mom a second chance just went on deaf ears because EJ just was not having it. I get, you know, again, I get his anger. I get, you know, I'm trying to look at it from EJ's point of view. You know, when he was better, he came back up. He came back to Salem. And, you know, there was one point he was like, listen, I messed up with you. Badly. And I understand if you don't want to give our marriage another try, it is what it is. It'll hurt, but I accept that. I mean, in reality, Sammy could have went about this in so many different ways. So many different ways. You know, she could have went about this. But she didn't. You know, it went from crying on her shoulder to being together. And then when he got back, you just lied to him. You lied to him. And then you had sex with the same guy again. And you just kept lying. And even when you got confronted, you still lied. Now don't get me wrong, EJ has his own issues of why he's not exactly innocent in this whole thing either. I mean, for one, he also cheated on Sammy. But then he just didn't try to say, oh, well, we weren't married, so I guess that's supposed to be okay. Because y'all weren't married, oh wow, you take your vows to God seriously. Okay. I can't even sit there and defend that. I was like, bro, you literally did what she did, but when she did it, it was a problem. Wow. I mean, I would sit there and say Sammy doesn't deserve that, but I'm like, the way she was sitting there treating Lucas. No, I was gonna sit there and say that Sammy can do better. But the way that Sammy was sitting there treating Lucas, I was like, you know what? Maybe you can't. Maybe this is exactly as high you're going to sit there and go. A guy who will be cold, distant, and treat you lower than dirt. With that being said, once he was done with Allie, somebody came from, I guess, one of the secret tunnels. I don't know who, but it'd be interesting if it was Kristen. I think that's about it. If I missed anything, please write down in the comment section below. Yeah, every now and then, I gotta sit there and leave disclaimers because, you know, I get that some people love Gabby, and there's things that I like about Gabby, but when Gabby acts like this, I can't just sit there and ignore and be like, oh, well, it's just Gabby. No. What she did was just, like, petty. But petty for what reason? I just, there's times where it's things that Gabby does that just blows me. It literally blows me. On top of that, before she even came at Ava, she was already sitting there once again talking to Jake about, you know, Philip's downfall. You know, the guy who was actually a gentleman to her, who helped her out, who believed in her when even Jake didn't. But sure, whatever, Gabby. You, what you do, it totally makes sense. So, yeah, but every now and then I gotta sit there and leave these disclaimers because, you know, I appreciate every person that watches my channel, and I always respect, love, and appreciate everything that everyone does as far as, like, watch my videos, supporting it, even watching it when it comes out super late in the next day. And that's why I felt like I had to kind of give that disclaimer because, you know, I do tend to go hard on people, and I don't pull punches. But yes, with that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I will see you in the next video. I need to get some more damn water.